This is Things Police See, First-Hand Accounts, with your host, Steve Gold.
Welcome to the podcast that interviews active and retired police officers about their most intense, bizarre, and sometimes humorous moments on the job. It is I, Old Gingerface, with you as always. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for finding the show. Thank you for all the downloading of the back catalog. I truly appreciate that. This show is brought to you by the Patreon. Got no sponsor right now, so we're going with the Patreon. You can get there through the link in the show notes. There's a bunch of different levels. Basically, if you love the show and you've really appreciated all the free content and you want to show me some love monetarily, which I appreciate, you can do that through the link. There's a bunch of different levels. But if you pick the sergeant level or above, you will be getting a shout out on the show. I like doing them. It's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate the support. The Patreon really, I don't know if you ever had a podcast or if you ever had a long running project that you did that was like a hobby, but also like you really like doing it. Well, it's been like 6 years, and there are ups and downs. Like there are times when I'm excited. I feel like I have the energy to do it, and I want to do the show. And there's other times where it's like it really is a grind. Like I worked like a 70-hour week. I have to schedule people. I have to record. I have to edit so it sounds good, adjust all the levels. Now I'm doing video. And it sometimes you feel like you don't want to do it. The problem is if you stop doing it, if you miss one, then it's easier to miss the next one, and then there's a huge gap, which has happened to me a few times. But the Patreon support, along with the emails and messages you guys send me, is 100%. The combo of those two is what keeps me going. So the fact that you would appreciate the show enough, you'd appreciate the men and women of law enforcement that come on here and tell their stories, and you would support by donating to the production and all the subscriptions I have to keep it going. And there's some left over for me to help pay my bills for overtime I didn't do because I'm doing the show. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, and it truly does motivate me. So I'll stop talking about it, but I thank you, and I love you for that. Today's show, very excited to have him. He did 16 years at Wichita Police Department. He did patrol, financial crimes. He was in the gang unit at one point. And also, damn, brother. I should have been a doctor. I can't read it. He did, hostage negotiation. That's what he did. Also, he's author of the new book, Cop Inc. Also an actor. He's recently been in the TV show 1923. He's been in a bunch of other movies, got a bunch of movies in theaters right now, and a military vet. Without further ado, let me bring on the great Dwayne Michaels. Dwayne!
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Dwayne, good to see you, my man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really impressive, dude. 1923, and then you have movies in the theater right now. Are you?
We do. We have a bunch of movies in the film festivals right now. There's a movie called Anywhere that's out. We got another movie with Michael J. White, the guy that played Spawn. I get to get my butt kicked by him in another movie. He plays a veteran, kind of one of those old Steven Seagal type movies where the comeback movie type thing. So you'll get to see that. I can't really talk much about that. I was in a movie with Green Day, the band that's coming out. Actually, it's in Europe right now in the theaters, and it should be coming out. And I'm not sure if they're going to name it the same thing, so I can't really give the name out. But yeah, I've been doing a little bit of acting here and there. So
very cool, dude. I did. I have auditioned 2 times in my life just by happenstance. Got invited because of people I knew or whatever. It is really hard, dude. I get like we were talking before we started recording. I did stand up for 5 or 6 years, and that was really, really humiliating and hard to get used to talking. But I found that the auditioning was even more nerve-wracking, and I never took an acting class in my life, so just to defend myself. But when there's a casting director and a big camera, and they're like, I think are they called shorts, or what do they call it when they give you the
when they give you the what now?
They give you the lines you're going to read. Are they called shorts?
Script.
No, not the script. It's something else. They emailed it to me, and it's the sides.
Oh, the sides. My bad.
Yeah, the sides.
Yeah.
Dude, I only had like 4 lines, and I was, number one, so nervous. I couldn't even like my mouth was tight. Like I was totally having a fear response. I couldn't act. I'm like, this is really friggin' hard.
Yeah. One of the hard parts is memorizing all the lines. Not It's probably my least favorite. When I get a lot of lines, I do nothing but carry note cards around all day long and just, it becomes my life.
Yeah.
So it could be pretty strenuous trying to remember all those lines.
Yeah, I hear actors on podcasts talk, and like a lot of them, they've been doing it for a long time, but they'll be like, "Yeah, I look it over in the trailer a few times for the scene," and then it's like, Really?"
Yeah, I've got a buddy of mine that he was on a couple soap operas back in the day, and he says they have these lockers, and every Monday morning they would have their script, and they'd have basically for the week, and they would be memorizing that stuff. I don't know how they do it. It's way too much to memorize.
Yeah, dude. And then not only you gotta remember to say it, you have to be a character. Like
Right.
you can't just spin it. All right, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my hat's off to you, brother. That's crazy. And the book looks really fun too. Like here's we'll go back to it later, but the cover looks really fun.
Yeah, I wanted to engage the readers right away with the picture on the book. Them to see it can be a little fun, and that there's going to be a lot of little different elements there. So
Yeah, absolutely. I dig it. So you did 16 years Wichita, large police department. I'm sure you saw a ton. Can you recall the first hot call you went to? The first call that like really got your blood going?
hot call. Yeah, I had one that was really funny. I was still pretty new. I was driving around, just got to work, drinking my free coffee from the Quick Trip, and we got a call of a suspect climbing through cars in a big parking lot. And I had just realized that I was a block away. And so, my backup was probably who knows how long he was away. So I'm like, I can take this guy. He's crawling around the vehicles. I kind of curve around to try to sneak up on him. I get out of the car. I'm sneaking up on the car. He sees me, and now the chase is on. He's running with a bag full of stuff he has stole from the vehicles. And hindsight being 2020, I should have got back in my car. But you get that adrenaline going, and now I'm chasing this guy on foot. We're running across an 8-lane highway. We're running across things. We get into this apartment complex, and I'm running faster than I should probably run. I'm running faster than I should possibly. My shoes aren't even used to this speed here,
Yeah.
and I am in an apartment complex, and I slip on the grass, and I go flying forward, and my left knee hits a cement barrier, one of those cement barriers that you use to park.
Yeah.
And later, I would find out that I cracked my kneecap, and so without even thinking about it, I jump back up. I'm chasing after this guy. I tackle him. I finally get him. Um, my partners get there, and this female officer is a friend of mine. She comes up to me and she sees me on the ground, and she goes, "Oh my God. From your complete back and into your shirt and everything, you're covered in dog shit."
Oh,
I had slipped on a big old Great Dane poop or something. And when I slipped, it wasn't the grass, it was dog poop. And I literally was covered in dog crap. And then of course I had to go to the hospital for my kneecap. So when I get there, I take my shirt off. The t-shirt underneath is covered in crap. So yeah, that's probably one of the weirdest hot calls I've ever. I mean, I've had lot of them. And that's one I could think of, maybe humorous, because most of my stories are pretty gruesome. So I thought I'd come up with something funny.
oh, that's disgusting, dude. I have a dog, a big dog. I hate the smell of dog crap. It makes me gag.
Dude, I was covered. I was literally covered. It was like just this monster, probably a monster. So what I take from the story is, please pick up your dog crap when you take your dog out for a walk, especially in an apartment complex.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so gross. I stepped on one the other day and it was like it had that crust on it, and then it was like an odor release. I stepped on it and it was like, I'm like, what is that smell? It's almost your German Shepherd. So he's pretty large, and you almost just want to throw your shoes away. It's like I don't want to clean this.
No, thank you. Especially your boots. They got gets all in the crevices of the boots and
Yeah. Or it's even worse when you do it and then you walk through your house and you don't realize it and it leaves.
oh yeah,
Oh, dude.
you smell it. You're like, where's that coming from? Where's that smell coming from? You're checking all your shoes.
So, dude, you were pretty new when you cracked your kneecap. That sucks.
Yeah, I had to wear one of those stupid boots for on my left knee for a while. They call it a badge on the floor whenever you're not. They call it BOF. So whenever you're injured and you work the front desk, you're a badge on the floor. So I worked BOF probably for a couple months before I was back on the streets.
Did they make you guys do dispatch? Were you like a station officer, like took walk-in reports and stuff?
No, the dispatch, they had a county dispatch that handled troop or county, city, EMS, fire, everything. We have 4 bureaus. So I was in the West Bureau, and it's a pretty large department.
Okay, so you were just doing like clerical work, basically.
Yeah, I do. People come walking into the stations and make someone stole my homework type stuff, and or my neighbors yelling at me type stuff, and so we just take those reports.
Yeah, just what you signed
So
up for. Just what you want to do.
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Brother, can you tell us about the strangest or most bizarre thing you dealt with?
No, this one is kind of gruesome.
That's cool.
I would definitely tell anybody that didn't like gruesome not to listen to this story, but I was in FTO. Excuse me. And when you're in FTO, FTO volunteers you for everything crazy that you can get.
Yep.
And we had a little backstory. This gentleman, we'll call him Frank. And Frank was out of work. His girlfriend was getting on him because he didn't have a job. They just had a 2-year-old child. And she basically kicked him out, or she moved out of the house and said, if you don't get a job, we're done type thing. So he moved in with his buddy. He was just happened to be a BMX rider, and he was out of town doing some kind of BMX thing. Um, I try to keep this story real short here. He basically he got a new job. He was excited about it. His buddy got him the job. They went out that night, had a good time, celebrated his new job, and his new boss's wife was hitting on him all night long.
Mm.
So he got fired that night. He was celebrating his new job. He got fired the same night, and he got drunk and decided to try to start fights with everybody at the bar. So they ended up getting him a ride home, and he went home and unfortunately decided that his life was done. And he took his own life with a shotgun to the face.
Oh.
And of course, they find him the next day and to check on him, and I get called. They're like, "Let's go to that."
Yeah, of course.
So we get there, and I walk up, and I am the first one to go in. And as I'm going in, I'm going down into the living room, and to the right, there's a hallway. In the hallway, there's a bunch of white rocks all over the floor. Like, I don't know if he had a plan or what it was. But then I went into the room, and there he was. He had totally taken all his clothes off. And as you know, that's a very common thing. And took the shotgun. He was about 6'3", and he took that gun and he blew his face off. And he didn't have anything left. I had never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And then when CSI came, I was helping him with the photo log, and she was picking up the rocks in the hallway, and it turned out the rocks were his teeth.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
brutal. How did
Yeah.
you like for the first time seeing something like that? Did you have any kind of physiological response? Did you feel sick? Did you turn white? Like anything like that?
It looked like something you'd see out of a horror flick. It didn't look real. So I think maybe my mind kind of made it not real.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this guy. He doesn't have much of a face left, and he's still holding on to the gun. um, it was pretty surreal. It was something you don't see. And for the first time I'd seen something like that, it was pretty traumatic. I think I handled it pretty well. I think I was more in shock than anything, but I was trying to be professional at the same time. So it was difficult. It was pretty difficult.
Yeah, I kind of had a very similar reaction to what you just said. I went to the first really horrible thing I saw was a bad car wreck, single car crash. and the guy's like arm was broken, the bone was sticking out like a movie, and then he had such a big laceration over his eyebrows that the skin was hanging down and bleeding like into his eyes and his mouth. And it looked the first thing I thought of was it looks like an animatronic gore puppet because he was like trying to talk and moving his bone around, and I was like, was like, oh, this looks fake. It looks like it's weird. You feel like almost like you're outside the bubble, like someone else is experiencing it. You're like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and you almost feel like want someone to be there with you that like, "I want you to see me see this so you know that I see this."
Right.
Like, no one sees that stuff,
Yeah, I got for thank goodness, this was in the middle of a highway median, and we were alone together for maybe a minute, and then, like, an off-duty paramedic ran down into the woods with his kit, gloves on already, and I was like, "Thank you, sir," because I was trying to figure out, like,
You got it, you got it.
yeah, what do you do when the bone is sticking way out again? You put a just put a towel over it. We'll wait for the good guys to come.
That's funny. Yeah, put it back, put it back.
Yeah, why'd you do that? It's bad. Um, yeah, man, that's a bad one. That's horrible. Man, that guy who fired him, that I wonder he must think about that.
I think the woman that was flirting with him, I think she was flirting with him, and they were drunk, alcohol, and I think she should feel more bad about it, if anything.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with a buddy of mine. There there's nothing more fun, like, in the corporate world or even, like, the police world, going to a party where everybody's not in their role, and it's like the company's paying for the drinks or, like, there's you're at like, a destination or whatever. It's simultaneously so fun and also so dangerous
Yeah.
for your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because 'Cause I've seen cops do things before that, like, in front of, like, lieutenants and higher and been like, "They're not gonna forget that." And also, um, I got invited down to San Diego once. My buddy's down there. He's like, a full partner in an equity firm, so he's like, "Come on down to take the train down to San Diego." When I was living in California, I went down there, and they shut down a city block in the, Gaslight district of San Diego for these companies to, like, team building and whatever. And, there's video games, and there was this girl that was a wicked, wicked bitch, and she was wicked rude to us. And my buddy called it out, and he had a good point. He's like, "That right there," he goes, "that's the problem with these things. She doesn't have any idea who I am or who you are, but
Right.
she was just a total bitch to us. What if we were the kind of people that were like, I'm gonna find out her position, where she works, see if we have a deal with that company or if we manage their funds, and get her fired, because that's what people
Right.
do.
Yeah.
It can be bad, man. You gotta watch it, guys, when you're out there getting hammered with your bosses. Maybe just don't do it or just be careful.
Don't do it.
Yeah, yeah. Booze is tough. Dwayne, can you tell us about your, most intense or terrifying call you went on? And I know you have a lot of stories for Wichita, so feel free to share a few or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking about this one. Probably the most intense one was we had lost a deputy, and I was working that day.
That's right.
I was pulling over a car because they didn't have a license plate on it. Turns out he was a dealer and he forgot to put the dealer plate on it. And so I'm pulling him over on the freeway. Meanwhile, uh, there was a gentleman, I won't give his name, decided he was going to shoot a cop that day.
Mm,
He called a false call in, said someone's broke into his car. And, that's a one person call.
right.
And so he went to his backyard. He lived out in the field, a cornfield. There was a cornfield out there, and he had a little shack out there. But he laid out in that cornfield and he waited for that deputy to show up. And when the deputy got there, no one answered the front door. So the deputy, called dispatch, say, "Hey, where's the calling party?" "Oh, they said they'll meet you in the backyard." As he's walking the backyard, this gentleman decides to shoot at the officer. He shoots the officer. The officer returns fire, or the deputy, I'm sorry, and he's screaming over the radio, I'm on the freeway giving a guy with no license plate a ticket, and everybody can hear it. So what do? Here's your driver's license. Today's your lucky day. I'm in the car. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Um, everybody and their mother's on their way. Troopers, sheriff, police. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
And that call came out of Officer Down. As I'm on the freeway going I'm about 15 minutes away going Mach 5. As I'm going down the freeway, the ambulance actually got there in time. He crawled, and the officers got there, were able to drag his body away from the guy and get him to the hospital. And as I'm on my way to the call, the ambulance goes the opposite way with police escort. We surround the area. He runs into the cornfield. We surround the area. The local Air Force post brings a Humvee for us to use.
Wow.
And our SWAT team gets on that Humvee, and they're going right dead center in the middle of that cornfield trying to find this guy. We have a helicopter above, and we've got this perimeter completely surrounded. It probably about 2 hours. After 2 hours, he decides he's done. He jumps up out of the cornfield and starts shooting at our helicopter.
Wow.
And without getting too much detail, let's just say he was surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of officers, and he didn't make it after that. But that was probably the most intense. The deputy went into surgery. He came out successful.
Nice.
His family was happy. They got to see him and things. And then he started to have problems again. They put him back into surgery, and he unfortunately didn't make it.
Oh my God.
And my heart goes out to the Zimmerman family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deputy Zimmerman.
God bless him.
Yeah, good guy.
Dude, what was it, a rifle he shot him with, like a high-powered rifle?
Yeah, he shot him with a rifle. He had a scope. He was waiting. He was laying in the cornfields waiting for him, and got a couple shots on him.
That's so weird. Like, it sounds like he was a property owner. Like, what was the guy's backstory? Was he, did he PTSD?
Family. Watch the news. I'm going to be on TV on Monday or whatever day it was. He planned it out. And the day after the incident happened, his brother was arrested because his brother called 911 and said he was going to kill an officer. So obviously there's some issues with the police in that family.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Did they have big criminal histories? Did you know? Did you get to know his background at all?
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that shot the deputy, he had quite the criminal history. I'm sure you can look it up. Deputy Zimmerman, sheriff, deputy. He's an amazing guy. Young, wife, kid, just sad.
Yeah. Those booby trap ones are frigging awful. I remember recently someone did that to firefighters. It was like, dude, these guys, how cowardly. They're not even armed. They're 100% just there to help. No chance they're going to arrest you. It's like, I mean, the cop thing is doing it to us is equally as terrible. But I mean, yeah, man, it's how awful, brother. Yeah, I would be totally have my guard down if I went to a place with a field and all that. Is not like you're in the ghetto or something. You know, your head's not on a swivel. You're like, yeah, let me meet this guy and see if we can help him out.
Yeah, I mean, one person call. Oh, we take those calls every day. You know, someone broke into my vehicle, somebody stole something out of my house. You know, burglary call. You know, those if they're not in progress, we send one or sometimes just send one person. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's almost impossible not to be complacent with that stuff. Because I remember once there was one where, they pulled a bunch of brush into a road, and, so, like, the cop had to get out. Like, they knew he was on his way home or whatever, and he had to get out and clear the brush, and they shot him. And, like, the day after that happened, I'm on patrol. There is no wind, like, there's no storm, it's not raining, and there's a tree, like a smaller tree, like, across the road like that, and I'm like, "This is friggin' eerie." So, like,
Yeah, you get that weird feeling. You're kind of like, you know,
Totally. I put the rear blue lights on for traffic so I can drag it, and that makes it even worse because now you really can't see because the blue lights are bang, 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 just
Yeah.
robbing your night vision. So I'm like like you said, I'm like
Yeah.
hunched over, dragging it out of the road. Of course, it was fine, but made me think.
It's scary. I mean, especially nowadays, there's a lot of hatred toward cops, and a lot of it's just because people that don't know any good cops, where they haven't really tried to get to know a cop or anything like that. They just believe what they hear.
Yeah, I've heard that from people before too with kids that are young, like in their 20s and how they have this real they came up with the BLM garbage and all that, and
Yeah,
I've had a parent tell me on a call, with a problem child, like, "Don't take it personally," and, like, "We don't worry about it," but he's like, because she was, like, calling us pigs and everything else, and he's like, "She 100% just watches the news and believes" he's like, "She believes everything they tell her." I'm like, "Great.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it's happening."
That sucks, especially when you have family members that have a bad um, interaction with a cop or something like that, and they're calling you up. Was this cop supposed to do this? Was this cop supposed to do that? And some of the stuff you would do,
Right.
and you're like, you don't want to tell them the cop did the right thing.
They
But
always
they
leave
don't
little
understand.
details out. It's always like they're the victim and they leave out a bunch of details. I'm like, "Wait, what
Yeah,
happened? What exactly did you say to him when he pulled you over?"
yeah, yeah. He asked for my ID for no reason.
Yeah.
It's always that for no reason.
Yep, I fielded a ton of those calls, absolutely. Um, Dwayne, do you have any other stories that stick out to you from, good old Wichita in the intense category?
Uh, Man, I could do it all day long. To be honest with you, I had a call.
Mm.
I had a call. There was a little backstory on this one. This gentleman, he was working in for the city. Let's just say that he worked for the city, and he was having an affair with a woman who they had been together for 15 years, and his wife had no idea. And he decided he was going to retire from the city. He was done with it, and he decided that he was going to end his life. And so he called 911 and said, "I'm going to end my life, and this is why, because I can't be with the woman that I love," or whatever the reason was. And so they sent me over to his place for a welfare check. And me and my buddy, and I get there and I'm waiting for my partner to arrive. I'm standing in the driveway. There's no car in the driveway. And I hear a loud gunshot. And so I rushed into the house. I didn't find anybody. I ran into the garage, and there he was. He had just shot himself in the head,
Oof.
and he was still alive.
Oh.
And I must have had a 10-minute conversation with this guy, me doing all the talking, of course. And he was just staring at me the whole time with the blood oozing out of his brains and and other stuff coming out of side of his head. And he stayed alive for about 10 minutes. And I talked to him for about 10 minutes. And then by the time the EMS got there, he was pretty much gone. But I literally there was smoke still coming out of the hole. I mean, it was that fresh.
Wow, that's
And
that's eerie. Was he able to articulate anything to you?
no, he was staring at me with his eyes. He could see he was listening, but he wasn't really able to respond. And he was in the car. He was in his car in his driver's seat, and it was just stuff was everywhere. The splatter was everywhere. And I was so amazed that he was still alive. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy's still breathing. And half of his head was gone, you know. But I don't know how much he could really understand what I was saying, but I sat there and talked to him for until EMS got there. And so I could say I had talked to a person that was dying, which was pretty wild.
That is wild, man. That is bizarre. What were you just, like, encouraging him? Like, "Hey, help's on the way," or
But in there, you're gonna be fine, we'll patch that hole up,
boy,
that's cop humor. So
you're like you just told him a whole bunch of lies to try to ease it for him.
yeah.
You gotta wonder if that's sitting there thinking if he was able to think a clear thought like, "Man, this was a mistake," you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He must have been. Maybe we got smoke coming out still, you know.
That's crazy.
Rarely do we get to see people that just do it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it is fun. Like the people I've seen in the the people that actually do it are it's so much different than like because we all you all have like wherever your police department is, you have those people who you're every month or two you're going over there for a mental health crisis and they're threatening it, or they do like an attempt, but it's really not. You know, they could figure it out. They could really do it. Like if they really wanted to, it's more of like cry for help.
Yeah.
Um, and it goes on for years. And then you have the guy that just, and it's usually a dude, just something happens or he's been quietly thinking about it. And they come home and they find like the gun safe open and he's nowhere to be found. And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it's that's even more shocking for the family because it's like, what the hell? But they just go and do it. They find a spot
Yeah.
and that's it.
It's usually not expected, those people.
Yeah, yeah, it's really weird, yeah, like, there was one recently in my area, and I looked at the back history of the address and all that, not a single mental health call, nothing. It's really, really crazy, but man, that's kinda haunting, brother. That I would've thought about that for a while, talking to that guy when he was on his way
Oh
out.
yeah. Oh yeah, I still think about it.
Man, I don't think it like, we kinda harp on it, and there's, like, a big movement now to put light on it, but there you really can't stress enough how effed up that is for a human being to deal with, and what it
There's a lot more detail in that story with his girlfriend, and it's in the book. The story's in the book, but the girlfriend shows up and the wife shows up at the same time.
Whoa.
Yeah, I had to deal with that too. And the rookie, here's a funny story. The rookie went inside the house and was told to watch, the crime scene, and he pushed the garage button.
Whoops. Well, why did he do that? By mistake?
Rookie. And the garage, I'm watching the garage slowly go up, and the girlfriend and the wife are right outside the garage. And I'm like panicking, trying to get that garage shut.
Oh my gosh. That's brutal. You're like, "This can't get any worse." Wait a second.
Uh, no, the garage was funny because, the rookies, they don't know, they panic. They don't know what to do. I think someone said, open that door or something. He probably, pushed that button.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what happened. You have to read the book to see what happened, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, man. That that is absolutely nuts. Do you have any heartwarming stories? Anything that warmed the cockles of your heart?
Yeah, of course. I had, as an officer, we're always moonlighting all the time. So I was moonlighting at a roller skating rink on a weekend for kids. And there was a little girl there who was crying about her shoes. And so, of course, I go over there. What's wrong with your shoes? They're my brother's shoes, the only shoes that I have, and they're too small. So, you can't let that go. Being a father, you know. So I went home and talked to my lady at the time, and we talked to the local news. We talked to we talked to all kinds of donation places. Her father was also they were living with his mother, so grandma was supporting them, and dad didn't have a job. They didn't have a car. Things were looking pretty bad for him. School was coming up. It
Mm.
was the end of summer. And so, long story short, we get all these organizations together. They get the girl, we're talking 4 or 5 boxes load of clothes, shoes. Um, they did a story on the news. Um, they put it in the newspaper. They got the guy a job. They got him a car.
Damn.
And it was just to be able to do that for somebody was just incredible to me. To be able to change someone's life. How many times have we been in a hole and no one helps you? And I solved a lot of their problems in about, in a day. And all I was trying to do was just get this poor girl some shoes. But all these organizations I told them what happened and they were so generous, you know. I don't think she could have wore all the clothes that she got, to be honest with you. So,
That's beautiful,
but
man.
Yeah, it was something, and you could probably look it up online. Girl or police officer helps girl with shoes or something like that. Um, and I'm curious how she's doing. I actually haven't seen her since it's been a long time. She's probably in high school now.
That's awesome, man.
I would, or I think her name was Kaylee. And so Kaylee, if you hear this, which I doubt, um, you know, hope you're doing good.
Oh, who knows? She might be a fan of law enforcement. We get about 25,000 downloads a month, so maybe she's one of them.
Yeah. And I think that's to me as a police officer, that was the most important thing to show the public that, we're not just there to throw cuffs on you, that we can actually help you. And, maybe me doing that helped her and other people like police officers, So, maybe she'll stick up for us one day when someone says something bad about us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, a buddy of mine used to work for a place on the West Coast, and they actually, for things like that, they actually developed a program where they had a debit card linked to a bank account, and they could ask the sergeant or lieutenant for authorization and buy a family a hotel room or buy some clothes or whatever. I was like, man, talk about cutting out the middleman. That's awesome. Have like
Right.
a fund you can use for people. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to help. And I recommend that to every officer. Try to, be helpful. Find people that need stuff in your beat or whatever you call it, your bureau, your beat, your patrol, and get to know these people and try to help them out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Love it. Um, I kind of off topic, but how did you get into acting? What did that look like?
Well, when I retired, you know, you got to find something to do with your life. And I was doing stand-up comedy like you were on the side.
Yep.
And my buddy in California happens to be a director. And he told me, he's like, dude, you'd be so good at this. You should try it. And so I went ahead and applied for a movie, believe it or not, and I got the role. And I also got to be the armor for the shoot because I have weapons experience being in the military.
Nice.
And so it was a whole month shoot. I was gone for a whole month in Missouri, in Perryville, Missouri, and we shot a movie called Promised Land. And it's going to be a TV show. And it should be coming out soon. It's a Netflix probably. And I play the bad guy Bert. So I play the hitman for a congressman. So
Dude, you got like a good role right off the bat.
yeah, it was really cool. Not a whole lot of lines. I probably got about 5 scenes where I'm actually talking, but I do a lot of physical, a lot of grabbing and wrestling and things. So it was pretty cool. I had a good time.
Dude, so you must be good at acting then, just like innately. You just must be good at it.
You know, doing stand-up comedy and just being a goofball in general, I've always kind of had that personality. So it fit me pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's really
Appreciate it. Then snowballed after that. So
yeah, once you get one in the bank, it's like, all right, this guy's legit. We could use him.
yeah, I took some acting classes after that, and taking the acting classes, I got to meet a lot of actors, and it's all about networking. It's all about networking.
Yeah, I get actors probably get a kick out of you too, where they're like, you didn't go to Juilliard or like act in like local theater and come up that way. You're like, no, I was a cop and in the military and here I am.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I completed my book was every time someone talks to me, they're always saying, "What's the craziest thing ever happened to you?" Or "What's the grossest thing?" Or, that. Everybody always asks that. So, um, most officers just tell the story, but I thought, you know what? I'm tired of telling these same stories all the time, over and over again, and not being able to tell the details. So, I wanted to get really into the stories. So, I went ahead and started writing, and before you know it, I was Jed's a millionaire, and I got a book.
Love it, brother. It's so cool.
Yeah.
How come you went out injured, right? Was it injured on duty?
Yeah, I broke my back in 5 places. I went down a flight of stairs backwards, 12 steps backwards, chasing after a suspect, and he went as well.
Oh, like Nantucket sleigh ride, but you were the sleigh.
Totally, and knocked the wind out of me. One of those things. Um, I was on like I was telling you, BOF, We did ball for a while. I actually got promoted to financial crimes. I did some financial crimes detective stuff. I was still a police officer, but I got assigned to the unit, and that way I could be on a desk and not have to worry about carrying all the gear and things like that. So, and I went ahead and retired after that.
Dude, that financial crimes, was that the worst?
Paperwork like this high, and penalties are like probation.
Dude, I work at a pretty small agency, so we kinda have to scoop up everything we can. We can ask, the state for help, but they're really busy, so, like, anything like that, like someone stole 25 grand from their grandma, whatever, and it was electronic, usually we try to do it, but I'm a patrol guy, so I'm like, I'm not a detective, so I've had a few like that, and brother, I wanna jab my eyes out with the fork, like writing warrants for documents and, getting, footage from the bank, and, like, it just was not fun at all. Like, I hated it.
Yeah, and then you do all that work and you go present it to the district attorney, and then they say, "Well, let's just give him probation." And you just spent the whole week doing all these interviews and paperwork and typing up reports for probation. So it was frustrating.
Yeah, weird stuff comes up that you never imagine if you're not, like, a court officer or a detective, like, there during one of them I had, it was like the 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 clerk who would approve the warrant was hell-bent on you don't need a warrant, you need just have the DA's op just we'll just do a administrative subpoena. The DA's office was like, "Absolutely not, we need a warrant." So they were fighting, and meanwhile, I'm just trying to help the victim out and get some responsibility for this money that's been taken,
Right.
and I have to imagine the clerk was right because 'cause they're like, they're the magistrate. So in the end, it all ended up working out, but they had me go to a different court out of jurisdiction. I'm like the DA was like, "We'll go to this court." I'm like, "Now I'm shopping around." I'm like, "Well, how that's gonna look?" The judge is gonna ask me, "Did you bring this up?" "Why is it clicked on it? It was denied." And then I have to the whole thing was just like way over my pay grade. I'm like, I'm not in the end though, I know I'm bitching about it, but in the end, we got some justice, and the family I was helping is the sweetest family, and I would do it all over again for them. But the process of doing it, and I think part of it was to just not it's not when it's not your thing, everything is learning.
Yeah.
So, I had to, like, call I had at the beginning of it, I talked to the DA I was working with, and I'm like, "Can you get me a warrant that's similar to this that's been written before?"
Right.
Because
Yeah, because it's pretty wordy.
the language in it, I never would have come up with about, like, they were talking about not only the bank, but where the bank's headquarters is in Maryland, that has to be named. Like, the whole thing was like, I never would have been able to do this on my own.
Yeah, and you have to put every transaction in there, what time, where they were at. It gets really and it's all felony. But it's funny because it's felony, but yet they're like the least penalty. It's like almost nothing. So
Yeah.
it's worth the risk if you're a criminal.
Yeah. You were like, "You know what? My back is really hurting now. I'm gonna have to get there."
Yeah, that's about right.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they took care of you anyways, and they
They
gave you
did. They did. They took care of me. I did that, and then I went ahead and got the retirement. We're vested at 10 years. So I went ahead and took the early retirement. I couldn't make it 4 more years. So
oh, good. Yeah, that's good, man. You can't do it at the price of your body, you know?
no, 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 no. And I do stunt work now.
Wow.
Yeah. I get beat up by Michael J. White from the guy that plays Spawn. I got beat up by him in a movie so recently. So my body's good. You can ask Michael.
That's awesome, man. I love it. So cool. Really popular question on the show. Um,
Mhm.
Advice to new recruits, people thinking about doing it, people getting into it. And believe it or not, they hear you guys tell your stories. And I get emails, people actually decide to be police officers because they hear your your fun adventures, or
Yeah.
your stories.
Well, I mean, advice. I have 2 different advices. One would be for people that want to be a police officer, and then maybe ones that are already police officers. So if you're already a police officer, I could sit here and talk all day about weapon retention and, qualifying with your weapon. Make sure you keep qualifying with your weapon. We have a lot of problems with people. They wait till qualification and then they shoot and never shoot again. It's very important to be proficient with your equipment, and you never know what's going to happen. So I would definitely tell officers training is keep training, with your weapon, with how to grab people, how to talk to people, everything. Train, train, train. You can never have enough training. My advice to people that want to be a police officer, go to college, get educated, um, take some courses, do some ride-alongs with the police officers. If you do ride-alongs, I've had people do ride-alongs, and then after the ride-along's over, they're like, "I can't do this.
Yeah, they don't want to do it.
Can't do it," And so if you think you wanna be a police officer, you should be doing some ride-alongs for sure, no doubt about it. And, talk to your, police officers in your beat or your patrol area, whatever you call it. Get to know them and see if it's something you'd like to do, and they can answer all the questions for you, especially for that department. So, that would be my advice.
Yeah, great advice, brother. Words of wisdom. Tell us about the book a little bit more. Where can people grab it?
You can go on Amazon. The best way to find it is to type in my name on the search in Amazon. Type in Dwayne Michaels, and it's the first thing that pops up. You can't miss this book. The color, with the cartoony in the front, and so that's one of the reasons I did it. It was very catchy with the eye. It's going to be I think it's 82 stories, or at least 82 stories in there of just the craziest, funniest, scariest, grossest things you've ever heard in your life, including the recent murder they had in Wichita. It was right before I got out, where the old lady got her head sawed off, and so I was involved in that as well. That is a you don't want to miss that one. It's called Grandma in the Garage in the book. You don't want to miss that. That's a crazy story.
Damn, brother. Well, you gotta hit us with one more of these stories. 'Cause I know there's plenty in the book.
What kind of story? You give me a category.
What about the Christian one I saw real quick?
Which one?
The Christian party? Oh, no, no. How about the boy in the safe? Or either one. I don't know.
Let's go with the safe. The Christian party is long, and I don't. That one is crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely want to. That one is crazy. Um, the safe, the one, the little boy in the safe. I got called to Sam's. Maybe I shouldn't have said their name. I don't care. Sam's warehouse, and little boy. I think he was like one boy was like 7, the other one was like 10, and they were playing around, while mom's shopping, and they had one of those safes, the ones that is probably as tall as you are, and not too wise, but they have them open.
Oh, really?
And the little boy, 7-year-old, got in it, and the 10-year-old slammed them in it and spun the what do you call it? The combination lock.
Yeah. Classic big brother move.
So for the next, they couldn't find the code to get into that safe.
You're kidding.
And when the kid was screaming, it sounded like he was a mile away. And so talk about and being a father, you can imagine I was ready to rip that door off.
Uh,
Um, they called the fire department. They were thinking about using a torch, but they were scared because they would cook them inside of it.
yeah.
They weren't sure what to do. It would be an hour and a half before they got him out. He was not making any noise anymore. And they finally were able to get the code and open it up, and he was alive.
No brain damage or anything?
No, but he was rushed to the hospital. I think he was okay. But I think with that story, I just watch your kids better.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I did. That must have rippled around the country because I did notice that anytime you go to Tractor Supply now, all the safes are closed and locked.
Oh yeah. You talk about lawsuit. My
Yeah.
gosh. Holy crap.
Dude, that's a nightmare. That poor kid too. I have a little touch of claustrophobia. I'd be talking to someone for years after that.
What killed me was when we were like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, you couldn't even hear him. It was so thick inside of there. You could, and you're thinking air, your oxygen, and you're like, "Okay, don't talk." Oh,
Damn, man. Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them open a safe on a warrant, and the fire department used the jaws, I think, but that would probably be too many uncertainties of like popping that kind of metal with a person in there. That probably
Yeah.
wasn't an option because it could tear the kid apart.
Shrapnel.
Damn, brother, that is stressful.
Yeah. And being a parent, that adds the on top of that. And any calls with kids is really difficult.
Yeah, everybody says the same thing. Totally. I was just talking yesterday. I was at the station, and a retired fire chief came in, and we were chatting for like half an hour. And the end of the conversation, he was kind of talking about his war stories and stuff. And he said, the thing that always gets you and always will is the kids, because
Yeah.
they're innocent.
There's a couple stories in the book about kids and they're not so happy, but I think it's important to share those stories because maybe people won't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, and it's a reality of police work that people should know. You're gonna go.
You don't want to kiss your kids every night.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter how, if you work at Podunk PD or you work in a city, um, if you work long enough, you're going to be exposed to everything, and
Yep.
it's pretty rough. It's even so. I work in a rural spot now, and it's like it's almost harder because like you are so winded down that when you get the oh shit call, you're not used to the response physiologically. Like when you work at a place when you're going running call to call, it's almost like you get to a certain level and you're kind of running in the yellow, maybe in the orange. When you're in the green and then it hits, it's like your system floors. You're like, oh yeah, this is the response my body has.
I didn't really have too many slow days. I was on second shift and that was we worked 10-hour shifts, 4 10s. And so that was from 11 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night. So we had probably the busiest shift. It was nonstop. So that keeps you fresh, but it also keeps you on the edge all the time too. And so
Burns
it's hard to,
out.
hard to relax.
Yeah, it is. They say it's like running your body on nitrous oxide. You might feel okay, but really what you're doing is like coring out your heart valves and everything else.
Yeah.
Rough. Dwayne, honor to have you, brother. Great stories.
I'm so glad that you had me, man. This is great. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And we will put in the show notes any links you want the people to be able to check you out. Those will be right in the show notes, so they won't have to go search for them. They can just click on the podcast, and they'll be right there.
Cool. I'll give you my IMDb too, so they can check that out. You can check me out on the IMDb. Just go into IMDb and put Dwayne Michaels on there, and you can see the shows, movies, and things that I've done.
You should maybe change your name to Dwayne Michaels. I had to say it, brother. I just saw that movie.
Dwayne Michaels. I like it. I like it.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you. It was an honor, and I'm going to do the show outro. Can you hang on for like 2 minutes?
Sure thing.
All right. Thank you to Dwayne Michaels. Great stories. Great to have you, brother. This is a time in the show when I thank the Patreon sponsors, Sergeant or above, you will get a shout out on the show. These are the lieutenants, the great and powerful Andy Biggs, Kyle Roberts, everybody, Michael Roach from Roach Machines AI Solutions. Check him out. The great and powerful Thomas Connell. Now to the sergeants, Adam McMahon, Adam Mehall, Brad Thompson, Brett Lee, Dan Carlson from Burley Boards. Check him out on Instagram. Sherry Finch, Clark Lakoff, Dave Ellman, Dennis Carrasquillo, everybody, Doug and Kelly Newman. Love you guys. Hope you're enjoying Wyoming. Dylan Mosher, Elliot Sykes, Gabriel Decknop, Gary Steiner, everybody, George Cariotis, Greg Gadboy, Jackson Dalton from Black Box Safety. Thank you, sir. Jason Labrie, Jason Lau, John Jordan, John Shoemaker, John and Aaron Kate. Love you guys. See you at church. Lauren Stimson, everybody. The handsome Lane Campbell. Lisa Gano, Marcus Johansson. Thank you, brother. Iceman from Motor Cop Chronicles. Check out his podcast. Nancy Hammond, Raymond, Arsenal, Richard Tolles, Keep On Truckin' Brother, Sasha McNabb, thank you. Sam Conway, everybody. Scott Young, Sean Clifford, Seth Wright, Sheriff Ronald Long, thank you. Tammy Walsh, holding it down to dispatch, thank you, Tommy. Tony Fahey, Zachary Pleat, and the handsome and venerable George Tessier. Those are the Patreon sponsors that are keeping the lights on, keeping the boat afloat over here. I truly appreciate it. I love you guys, and I will see you next week.